James Gunn just rebooted the most iconic superhero of all time, and wow, he's done okay. Welcome to Jake on Film, the new stuff, exploring the new stars in the film universe. Is this a triumphant return or a risky misfire? In the next few minutes, I'll break down the highs, the misfires, and whether this version successfully kicks off the new DC universe. Overall, I found the film really entertaining. It's bright, fun, with just enough emotional impact to hold it all together. It really leans into its comic book roots, so we get multiple characters, pocket universes, and a kaiju thrown in for good measure. This isn't just another Superman movie, this is DC's shot at redemption. After the unacceptable disaster of the DCAU, James Gunn and Peter Safran have been drafted in as co-chairmen and co-CEOs of DC Studios. With this the first film in the Gods and Monsters arc. This is referenced in the opening titles, as we are spared another origin, thank God, and it states that Gods and Monsters turned up on Earth 3 centuries ago, and Superman popped over from the dying Krypton about 30 years ago. Got adopted by a kindly couple, you know the rest. We see the Fortress of Solitude, some nice flying, a remix of the classic theme, and the titles from the '78 original. We're off to the races. Superman has stopped a war by preventing the fictional Boravia, whose president looks like an alcoholic Ken Dodd, invading Charpenpur, while Luthor is scheming and pulling all the strings from behind the scenes to eliminate Superman, using a team made up of Ultraman, who has the powers of Big Blue, and the engineer, Maria Gabriela de Faria, who can manipulate nanotechnology. You might remember Ultraman as the alternate version of Superman from Crisis on Infinite Earths. This seems to be a slightly different take on the character. Complete with city glasses, Luthor breaks into the Fortress of Solitude and repairs a message from his parents, Bradley Cooper playing the role made famous by Marlon Brando, which states that Superman should rule over Earth and take as many wives as needed to spread his seed. Oh, okay then, Mum. This is a silly plot point, and as with the Batman, stop trying to retcon that parents are a bit evil. Just leave them alone. So Superman has to reconcile his lovely Smallville values. This time Ma and Pa Kent are so American apple pie it borders on parody, with his Kryptonian ones. David Corenswet is great as Superman, displaying the vulnerability and fun nature of Christopher Reeve with the intensity of Henry Cavill. Rachel Brosnahan is great as Lois Lane. She looks the part, she's the right amount of feisty, attractive, but slightly damaged in a sort of cool way. They have already started dating in this film, which is probably wise. It would be too much to fit into an already stuffed runtime. The Daily Planet and its usual cast of characters, Jimmy Olsen and Perry White, are all great, but they don't have much screen time. It would be nice to hang out with them a bit further, but this is a modern comic book film, so there's just too much to do. It's a funny plot point that Jimmy is also a ladies' man, and why not? Nicholas Hoult does a great job with Lex, for once a live-action version who just about manages to show the ruthless scheming that the bald billionaire will go to just to get his way. Well, anything would be better than Jesse Eisenberg. As always, Gunn's style sometimes slips too far into outright silliness. Why is Green Lantern such a fool in this? And Luthor's girlfriend is so over the top it makes Paris Hilton look like an academic. The introduction of a pocket universe and black holes also dips too far into CG nonsense and at times just takes over the movie and we really didn't need it. We are introduced to the Justice Gang. A running joke is that it's a bad name, which isn't particularly funny. Only Mr. Terrific gets really to do much, and it's good to see this cool character getting to shine for once. We get to see Green Lantern, the Guy Gardner version. As I mentioned before, he's particularly stupid, and a Hawk Girl, which if you didn't know much about in the comics, you won't find much about her here, because she barely has any lines or anything to do, but apparently she's happy to kill people. It's a clumsy introduction to what's obviously going to become the Justice League. They even have a Hall of Justice, but it's just there in the background. There's no acknowledgement of its significance. Yes, Zack Snyder was completely over the top, but at least he showed reverence to this iconic team. I'm sure there's more of them to come, and I'm sure it will develop as the universe expands. Take me out to pasture now, but I never really liked the 78 version. They acknowledged that Christopher Reeve is the ultimate Superman, and they really developed the relationship between him and Lois, as they didn't have the technology to show what he was truly capable of. Snyder didn't really like the character, but was happy for him to smash things up and kill General Zod, which didn't go down well. James Gunn's version tries to fit in the middle and succeeds to a point. Of course, the best version of the character can be seen in DC's animated universe and in the Justice League cartoon, but we all knew that, of course. A couple of fun Easter eggs I noticed. There's a sign directing drivers to Gotham City when they're trying to evacuate the city. And on the walls of the Hall of Justice, a picture of Wildcat, of all characters, can be seen. Did you see any more? Drop in the comments below. James Gunn had a lot to set up here. Not all of it works. His humour is not always funny, the new superhero changes don't get enough of an introduction, and the CG fantasy elements should have been toned down. It was reported that Gunn took inspiration from All-Star Superman, probably the best comic book series and animated film there is, about the Man of Steel. I don't really see it though. The colours are similar and it features his robots, but apart from that, nothing else is really recognisable from the classic run. And yes, James, we all love a dog, but Krypto is in the film far too much for me. However, the film is great fun. Lois and Clark are a couple you would root for, and Superman gets those great beast moments where you hit your hand in the sky and say, "Come on, Supes," which you can now deliver through modern filmmaking. Plus, his flying scenes are the best we've seen yet. Good start, Mr. Gunn. What's next? Jake on Film doesn't give a score, but if you had to, what would you give the movie out of 5 or even out of 10? I want to hear from you. Pop it in the comments below. Do you want to cart back to the Snyderverse, or are you glad we're in the Gods and Monsters realm now? Please like and subscribe. If you're trapped in the crazy ether that is the film universe, Jake on Film, the new stuff, is here to give you a hand. Until next time, keep watching.